CSST reports clients enrolled in programs. This report is designed to give you a list of clients based on their enrollment, participation, attendance, or eligibility records in a selected list of programs. The first choice that you need to make is the start and end dates at the top of the page. So you're looking for enrollment and or participation or scheduling or eligibility records that fall within a certain set of dates, and so you choose that immediately at the beginning. If you want to filter the list of programs to those that are associated with a particular agency, you can use the filter by agency drop-down list. But under normal circumstances, I would think that in most cases you would want to leave that set to all. The radio button then selection for enrollment, participation, scheduled and eligible is probably the most important part of this. Understanding enrollment and participation records and the distinction between the two is a subject for another set of video clips that you'll find under the CSST answers on YouTube as well. So if you're not familiar with that, take a look at those first. So we're choosing to use either client enrollment or client participation or both. So that would consider both enrollment and participation records, or two other alternatives which are separate from those, and that is scheduled, which means attendance records as recorded in the attendance pages on the scheduler form, or finally, completely separate from the above, is eligibility records. So you're only looking at clients not necessarily who are participating or enrolled, but simply those that are eligible for a particular program if you choose that last option. So we'll choose both enrollment and participation here. Then in the next listing, we're looking at a list of all programs as listed on the first page of the programs form, and we simply move the ones that we want to see across to the program selected list. And you can either double click to move things back and forth, or you can drag and drop, or whatever's appropriate to get that list set the way you want. It can be a single program or as many as you like. If in the selected list you have subprograms that are associated with those, they will appear in the subprograms list underneath, and you can further limit the choice by moving one of the subprograms over to the right-hand side. Under most circumstances, I would think that you would probably alternatively want to use the include subprograms checkbox here, so that if that's checked, then and there are subprograms for the selected programs, then those will also be included. So we've established now a set of criteria that's going to give us a list of clients that have enrollment and or participation records in this list of programs between these two dates up at the top. The next step then allows us to add further filter conditions based on client characteristics. And we have a whole series of video clips on establishing client filter conditions, but you would apply those in addition to what's being applied in that first page setup. So all clients who have records in those programs for those dates as set up, but then perhaps you want to further limit that to only those that live in a certain county, or only those who are Hispanic, or only those who are over 75 years old, or any combination of those things can be added here. If this page is left blank, then automatically the first page query for program enrollments and participation records will run against the entire client data set. The next page allows us to choose client the report output options. That can be a simple a list of client names. It can be a list of custom field selections. In other words, you select what fields you want to see. It can be the CSBG section G, which is simply a numeric summary report based on demographic characteristics of age, sex, race, ethnicity, income level, education level, and so on and so forth. It could be a list of emergency contacts for all clients enrolled in a particular program. It can be CSBG logic model outcomes and benchmarks, but limited to the clients and the program selected on the previous steps. Or it can be custom client selection fields with Head Start fields added in as an option. So let's look at custom client list, because that's probably the most flexible and direct of the options that are appropriate here. That then allows us to choose the field names, and that'll be all relevant fields within a client record: their name, their social security number, their case number, their age, their sex, their race, all of those things. And then as you scroll down, you'll see an address and phone number and so forth are going to be included in this list as well. And scrolling down, you'll find then about 2/3 of the way down the list, you'll start to see program fields. So if you want to see the program name included in the report output, this program start and end date, that can be those types of things can be included. And then finally, you see enrollment start and end, which is distinguished from program start and end because the enrollment record is specific to a particular client. In other words, that client started on such and such a date, ended on such and such a date, even though the program start and end dates might be different than that. So all of these things come into play. You choose the fields that you want to see. Within those fields that have been selected on this side, then you can choose to group the report by certain things. And if you have a group by, then you can also have a subgroup, a secondary group by. You can choose to use minimum field length, which will simply arbitrarily truncate all the fields so that they're more likely to fit on the page. If you don't do that, you'll see the full field length, in which case some longer fields might take up almost the entire page width. This report is produced in landscape mode, so you do have an 11-inch page to play with, but there is a limitation on the number of fields that will fit across the page. If you check the summary only, you will see no detail lines in the report, only the group header and footer, which will show you counts of the numbers of records that occur in each of the groups and subgroups as selected on this page. Clicking Finish then will run the report and bring it up in the Crystal Viewer, and you'll see the field selection that you have made, and the people and the names, whatever fields you have selected to appear in the report will appear here, and of course the output results are limited to those clients as indicated by all your filter selections in the report setup.